Thank you everyone for taking a moment to join us in celebration of my father's life, Lynn Lemire. This is not a memorial service. This is a celebration of a great life and a great man. I know everyone these days is super busy, so we really appreciate the effort and kindness that you have shown us today in remembrance of my father. Where do I begin to say thank you to my dad for all that he has given me, my sister, and my mother? Where do I begin to help my mother cope during this time of sadness as she has to get used to a new way of living without my father around? As a daughter, I'm stuck in the middle of sadness, understanding, coping, and a slew of other emotions all coming at me at once. My dad passed away in his sleep on Sunday, July 7th, after spending the 4th of July holiday doing a few of his favorite things. A day at the casino, followed by a few evenings dining out and enjoying great foods and cocktails with my mom. He enjoyed life through experiences that he shared with my mother. My parents met under interesting circumstances when my father's brother, Guy, hired my mother to work for my father without his knowledge. She was hired as his secretary at Armat Incorporated, an experimental manufacturing company. She was 18 years old. Armat was owned and operated by my grandfather, Armand, with the help of his two sons, Guy and my father, Lynn. My father later confessed to my mother that the morning he first saw her in his office, he thought to himself, damn, she's cute, but I don't date women I work with. We see how far that thinking went. When my mother and father were dating, my father was a working musician and very popular all around town. It's not that he knew everyone, but everyone knew him. My dad was a lead singer, a trumpet player, a piano player, a musical arranger, and sometimes a drummer when in a pinch. I recall some very, very funny situations when I was small, when my mother and I, my sister, we would be supporting my father at outdoor concert activities and concert events. I recall looking at my mother at times when he was singing songs that I heard him practice over and over at home every evening prior to the concert, and saying to her, those aren't the right words. And she would say, yeah. She would look at me and say, yeah, he does that when he forgets the words. And I recall us laughing about this for many years. And he did this quite often, and he was very good with off-the-cuff performances. My father was many things to many people. He was a bank of information. He was highly opinionated. He was also humble and proud. He was known by many names, Lynn, Lenny, and as we used to love to tease him, calling him the big guy. He was tall and broad, and he had a presence about him, a leading presence, a gentle giant that loved to entertain, chat about the world, and he loved science and logic. Anything outside of a scientific perspective made him laugh out loud, usually at me, as we saw the world completely different. I recall many dinners growing up where a light chat quickly turned into an all-out debate, which never really ended in those evenings. In fact, the debates would last for years. I still don't think we ever solved the never-ending question of what is the universe and why are we here? One of our favorite conversations. My father was a gifted musician, philosopher, and teacher. After school, we would spend many hours after dinner at the dining table, where my father would drill us and question us on all subjects. And took the time to expand on those topics, which ranged from reading, math, science, religion, history, geography, and sometimes he would pull out a chessboard and teach us to play chess. He believed in strategy, and strategy for all things in life. I liked playing chess with him, and I love how he explained his moves on the board. I could still hear him saying, think, Renee, think. My sister and I were not receptive to everything he tried to teach us. He was familiarizing us with piano at 2 years old, teaching us to play by 4 years old. While he didn't get much interest out of us, he was surely excited when he got the opportunity to teach my niece and nephew trumpet and piano. That musical skill, clearly passed by me and Noelle, has surfaced as a gift for them, which continues today. My dad was super proud of Amanda and Josh and their natural skill for music. I got his dancing gene. My dad was an incredible dancer and had amazing rhythm. The music moved through his soul as it does mine. I could feel music and hear music in a different way, different than most, and I understood that at a very young age and where this came from. Dad took this talent to the Arthur Murray Dance Studio, and he was a teacher there when he was 18 years old. I wish I could have seen him in those days. I recall the excitement I had when we would go to a wedding or any kind of party. My parents, they went to a lot of parties and a lot of weddings, and they were always out and about, as I am today. I couldn't wait to dance with my dad, because when I danced with my dad, I could feel his rhythm, and it's something I can't describe. Dad took time to focus on me and my sister, the very little time that he had in between working a full-time job every day, practicing for gigs at night, and performing those gigs on the weekends. There would be times when he was a flash through the house, changing clothes, grabbing instruments, because he would have 5 or more gigs from Thursday to Sunday, and he did whatever it took to take care of his family. We didn't have much, but we never starved. Dad was in the Air Force from 1959 to 1963. He was a lead trumpet player in the Air Force band, and he loved to tell stories from those times. He traveled a lot, and he met many interesting people on his journeys. One story that stands out in mind, which he loved to tell, was the time he was requested to perform taps at a general's funeral. The service was located at the edge of the Blue Ridge Mountains in South Carolina. When Dad arrived, he quickly noticed the area was a complete echo chamber, and that could have worked against him and his performance. He had the foresight to climb up into the mountain before the service so that he could play from a location above where he knew the sound would echo off the mountain, creating a deeper musical experience. When he finished and arrived down the mountain, he saw everyone in tears. And he said to his buddy, "What's going on?" And his buddy responded, "Man, you killed us. That was spectacular." I heard those words a lot when I was young, when I was trying to eavesdrop on my parents and their friends. In the early 1980s, Dad was the lead trumpet player, musical arranger, and one of 3 lead singers with Bobby Kay Big Band. One gig led him right into an episode of The Sopranos. The gig was located in a strange wedding venue, located in the center of an industrial park in Bridgeport. When the band pulled up to the venue, there were 10 gold and silver Rolls Royces parked in the front. Inside, the bar was long, and 20 gold phones lined the bar. And my dad thought to himself, only bookies would have a setup like this. Frank Sinatra's son-in-law, Tommy Sands, joined the band to sing with them that evening. The owner of the venue and father of the bride was Tommy Sands' godfather. The band played for 4 hours and was asked by the father of the bride to play another hour. He really enjoyed the band. The band was packing up around 1 a.m., and as my father made his way to the band's van, there was no other musicians in sight. He went back in and he found the 16-piece band hanging around the bar. They said, "Hey, Lynn, come on in. We got free drinks, as many as we want." They stayed until the early hours of the morning. My dad got home with the sounds of the birds chirping at 6 a.m. This happened more than once. And it's funny that while my mom did worry, she always trusted him and knew he was having fun, yet she was always on his mind. This was a trust and a bond that resonated in our house. This past Wednesday, my mother, my nephew Josh, and I had dinner at a local restaurant. It's called Burton's, a place that my parents enjoy going to. They enjoyed taking us to for many years. My dad was retired. he would get up and he would go there every day around 2 p.m. with a book in hand. I never gave this much thought, but Wednesday I saw this small daily action in a completely different way. I saw the team at Burton's, waitstaff, bartenders, managers, all in tears consoling my mother, and overhearing their stories and appreciation for my dad. I had no idea they had this much impact on who I thought were strangers, but that who I now see are friends, and perhaps family, for him. I saw some of them here tonight, and I still do, and I want to personally thank you for your kindness and attention that you've shown my father, and know that you will forever be in our family's memories, and continue to share stories with my mom for years to come. We are ordinary people doing ordinary things, but everyone here has touched my family's life in a big way. Touching lives starts with being our authentic self, caring about people, everyone around us. It is love in its simplest form, unpretentious, unwavered, and indifferent. I deeply miss my dad. And I'm up here tonight to represent my family who cannot find the words to express how they feel. Just recently, my dad said to my mom, "You are the best thing that's ever happened to me." It comforts me to know that she heard these words. She will always remember she is the best thing that ever happened to him, and they are the best thing that ever happened to me. As I look around, I grew up with a lot of you. I work with a lot of you now. And it's funny, everyone in this room, I feel like I've known since the day I was born to right now. And I probably always will. That's it. Thank you for coming. That's it. I did it. You'll be super proud. You didn't cry. I'm sure he'd probably want me playing piano or trumpet, and I'm not going to do a dance. That's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.